Off script, with jab on the mic. Every story, every stumble, every late night rewrite. Pull back the curtain, hear the real talk. Off script with Jarvis, jab on, let the conversation start.
Hey, my guy, what's up, baby? You good?
Bro, I'm doing well. Doing well. Summer's
2020
around the corner. It's
Bro,
spring now, so I can't complain,
it's almost here.
Yeah.
Like, we're in spring, we're in April, which is madness.
Yeah. So
But you've been on the
year
move,
is
man.
definitely Yeah. Went on the road in like second week of January, which doesn't normally happen a lot of times. Because things in our industry kind of kick off around, I don't know, for most people, like
Yeah.
April,
Now's the
Coachella time.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
it's been only a few occasions in my career when it's like January is super busy. This year
Right.
happened to be, this year happened to be one of them. And I was like, hey, super grateful,
Yes.
And then came home a couple of weeks ago and then back again tomorrow. So yeah.
Where are you? Are you in the UK right now?
Yeah, I'm at home right now in the UK. Yeah, so.
And then where are you heading next, if you can say? Well, you should have said this.
Yeah, like Europe, kind of like Paris, Belgium, Berlin, Europe, and then a bit of Asia, Singapore, Philippines, Thailand, that type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you going stateside?
No, not on this particular run, but I think later on in the year. So yeah.
Where's the last
I was
saw
meant to
you?
be, bro. Australia, right? We were both in Australia.
Yes.
Was it?
It was
Yeah,
Australia.
Yeah. Sydney, I think, maybe, or Melbourne.
One of those.
Yeah.
It was so
It
random.
was definitely Sydney. Definitely Sydney. Yeah.
It was Sydney. Yes.
Yeah. And you guys had just wrapped up Australia. We were just starting.
Yes, we were
And
finishing up.
you were going New Zealand. Yeah, you were going New Zealand next.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like a while ago, though, right?
It was so long ago. Like, it's been over a year.
Yeah.
It's been.
How you been, man? How you been?
Bro, I have no complaints, man. We're just on the move. 2026 it was kind of like a weird start of the year. But then, this industry, it's like all of a sudden it's like, yo, I'm home. And then it's like you have so much work happening. You're like, I can't do this. I can't. You know what I mean? It's one of those spaces, but God is good, bro. So it's chill, man. But for you, man, there's a lot of people that don't know who you are. So just give us a little brief overview of who Terry is and kind of how you got started and what do you do. So then when we start yapping away, people have more context.
Yeah, for sure. Man, and appreciate you for having me, man. Also, before we get started, I just want to say, really love what you're doing with your platform, and it's I know you have a real heart to give back and just to help other people maybe do some of the things we get to do, or get to do those things easier and quicker than maybe we had to, and some of the hurdles we had to maybe kind of climb over. So I know that this is the purpose of this. So
yes, sir.
I love
Thank you.
But Terry, who am I? I mean, briefly, I just a music lover who, even for me to kind of be saying this is crazy because I was never really, I feel like this is supposed to, what I was supposed to be doing, but you would have, if I was like 12, 13, you could have told me this would be what I would have believed you, bro, because that wasn't, the path I was taking. Didn't come from a musical family, nothing like that. So anyway, I'm a musician. I'm a music lover first and foremost, a music consumer.
Yes, sir.
And then professionally, I guess I'm a musical director, piano player, and a live show producer. Which is when I combine those roles with my background in production. So when I'm working on the production of the show, as well as the musical production of the show, and then I become a live show producer because I have also a background in technical production, like audio, lighting, visuals, and things like that. And then at times I'm lucky enough to put those worlds together, musical and technical, and then work in show production. So that's a little bit of what I do. And I've been doing that for I guess was 14 years, I'd say. Yeah, 14
Sheesh.
years.
That was the most
Yeah.
modest thing that you just said. So I'm gonna gloat for you so people understand how dope you are. First of all, you've accomplished something that a lot of people are not being able to accomplish, and not just in the musical realm, but you don't live in the States. You know, you live outside of the country where primarily most of the touring kicks off is stateside. Of course,
For
we have
sure.
artists all over the world and that kind of stuff, but
Yeah,
they
yeah.
struggle to break into the US market. And
Yeah, the US is a big chunk of that.
yeah, this is kind of what it is. US is just what it is when it comes down to music. And
Yeah.
you've been successful enough to be not just a phenomenal musician, but to step into a space of being a musical director, programming a lot of songs, being a vital asset to a ton of musical directors, even when you're not musical directing. And
For
that's
sure.
a big reason why I wanted to talk to you, because I think there's a lot of people that can benefit from hearing more of your story, your
Huh?
your thoughts, and maybe how to navigate a space where even if they don't live outside of the country of the United States, they're just able to understand, okay, do I have to move to LA? You know, do I have to be in New
Exactly.
York? Do I
Yeah.
have to be in Nashville?
Yeah.
You know, like this man
Yeah.
in front of you right now lives completely on a whole different continent and has been incredibly successful in infiltrating the US market of being a vital asset to other musical directors, but in general. So how did you approach that? You know, because that's not an easy thing to do at all.
Yeah. Honestly, bro, I think a lot of it's, I guess, right place, right time.
Okay.
When I look back now and reflect, I feel like some of the decisions maybe that I made, or things I chose to do, um, I guess earlier on in my career, if I hadn't done them at that particular time, I don't know if things would have unfolded how they. So a lot of it is, of course, right place, right time. But I think for me, from early, what I kind of found helped me in terms of navigating what it is I wanted to accomplish was actually being able to identify what it is I wanted to accomplish. Like,
Okay.
okay, what do I want to do? Because a lot of people don't have those conversations themselves. What is it I want to do?
Yeah.
Which segment? It's a broad industry, so okay, which space do I want to fit in? What do I want to do? What do I want to be recognized for? What do I want my peers to say? Okay, when they talk about me, this is what Terry does, right? So I think it
Yes.
kind of starts with identifying what it is you want to do, because you can't do everything.
Yep.
Like, I mean, and you can have a lot of bows to your, don't get me wrong, you can have a lot of iterations of what you do, but it also kind of still needs to kind of come under one umbrella. Like, so it's kind of like as you know, in the touring industry, there's so many roles
Yes.
and there's so much you can do. So it's kind of like, for me, it started with identifying what it is I wanted to do. And I think I was lucky enough that I had youth on my side. So
Mm,
I kind of knew that I wanted to work in the touring industry professionally around the age of 16, 17. I'd say
that's good.
I was
That's
kind of
early.
thinking about it from around 15, but I
Yep.
knew definitely 16, 17. Okay, I really want to do this. So at that time, it was not, the social media wasn't what it was now. And so it was kind of like trying to identify um how I could reach out to the people who were doing what it is I knew I wanted to do. Musical directing wasn't necessarily a thing that I knew of yet. At that time, it was kind of still like because I think musical directors, a lot of times, not always, but it's a natural progression from being a session musician.
Sure.
Now, there's MDs who don't play an instrument at all. That's a different story. But like, yeah, and that's great. But like for most guys, you start as a
Yeah.
musician or whatever. So my focus was, I just wanted to be a session musician and tour around the world. I knew that at 17.
Okay.
And then it's kind of, as you do research and you try to get your foot in the door, it's like, oh, there's the thing called MDs. Oh, they put the bands together. Oh, you have to audition. Oh, okay, cool. There's this, there's that. So at that time, being from Manchester, so I grew up in Manchester, in the north of England, and there wasn't really any major artists or MDs around or things like that. So I figured, for me, the way I could try get my foot in the door or be around and see kind of what happens under the hood was to, when tours came to Manchester, go to the venues and just,
Okay.
be
Yeah.
around. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
That's
used to
smart.
go to venue. I used to literally look at the calendar of the year and be like, oh, Mary J. Blige is coming to the arena on this day, or Taylor Swift is coming, or whoever was, and then be like, okay, cool. Well, I got college from around this time to this time. If I leave early, I can go stand outside where the tour buses are and hopefully meet somebody.
Yeah,
That's what
okay.
I would. That's what I used to do. Like, because I was
Wow.
like, it was MySpace and Facebook, early Twitter as well. Them days, but there was no Instagram or social cam and Instagram were kind of still early and things like that. So
Right.
that's what I used to do. And then oftentimes, because I'd get there so early in the day before the band members actually came, because I didn't know
Right.
how
Yeah,
things
yeah.
worked. I'd meet production managers and tour managers and those type of guys. So that's
Very
kind of how I got
valuable.
into production. Yeah, because they would say to me, "Look, if you're trying to do this thing, why don't you start by working locally at some, like maybe backline rental companies, audio
Sure.
companies, that type of thing. Why don't you start by doing that, and then maybe you can get your foot in the industry that way."
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
for me,
yeah.
that was kind of, yeah, that's how I kind of, so I went on like a 2 year type of thing where I was kind of, I did 4 months at an audio company where I was learning all about line arrays and consoles and monitor world, front of house world, broadcast recording, and kind of just working in the warehouse, putting the cables together and just
Yeah.
being the kind of extra pair of hands. Then I did the same at a lighting company, did the same at a video company,
Wow.
learning about video screens and how to build them and how to fix them when they break. And all of this was kind of, and I was very transparent and honest. I'd be like, guys, I know, because they'll put the roll out or something and I'd see it, I'd apply for it. And I'd be like, I'm not trying to be here for 5, 6 years. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah,
I just want
straight
to
up.
come here, get a little bit of experience and leave. But I want to be an MD. I want to be touring. I want to be this. I'll tell them. And a lot of
Yeah.
times they were cool with it, you know.
Sure. Yeah. But
So they'll let me come be an extra pair of hands for 3, 4 months. Then I'd move on. So I did that for like 2 years. That's how I kind of learned about production.
yeah. Okay.
And in the meantime, in the background, I'll be kind of putting my name out there to try and get work as a session musician. And you start locally, you do small gigs with local artists. I don't know, £50 or $50 or whatever it is, and you learn like a ton of music. Like the
Yeah.
ratio of work you do and the compensation is crazy. Like at
It's
that time,
nuts. Yep.
like you're learning like hundreds of songs and carrying gear on public transport and so like I was doing that for a long while and then started to go to London as well, which is kind of like or LA or whatever
Right. Yeah. Yep.
go to London and put my face out there and go to jam sessions and connect with other musicians, who were there. And I don't know what it was about me, but for me, I kind of always had this belief of like, it doesn't matter where I'm from as long as I'm the best, or not even the best what I do, but the best I can be at what I do. Like as long
Sure.
as I'm striving for excellence, I've got to like somebody's got to notice, or I've got to
Yeah.
notice outside these four, outside of my surroundings. Somebody's got to give me a chance. I just thought if I was good enough,
Yeah.
then it was gonna happen. So there was that pressure of should I move to London? Should I move to the States? And as kind of I'm trying to obviously like compress the story as much as possible, but
You don't
like
know.
as I started to
Don't.
kind of okay, so I started to kind of do a lot of, I guess, get some success over here in sessioning. So I was the artists who were here, some of the major artists over here. I started to work with them and get experience touring as a session musician. Started to MD at a low level as well. So I'd kind of graduate from working as an extra pair of hands in the production world, warehouse and being uh crew at festivals and things like that. And then
Sure.
okay, cool. Now I've got 1 or 2 gigs here and there. And you start off doing kind of like a festival slot, but super early at like 12
Yeah.
o'clock or 11 a.m. And there's
You're
like,
the first act. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you're the first that do that. But hey, that was a big deal. I was like,
It's a
yo, I'm
massive.
playing
You're
at a
still there.
festival, bro. I'm
Absolutely.
playing at a festival, bro.
Yep.
Like that's crazy. And then so doing that and then graduating gradually. So it was kind of gradual. And then MDs in the UK started to notice. So um um a guy called Michael Hamilton, more known as Smooth in the industry, he gave me my first kind of, I guess, professional gig. He was MDing for like Jesse J at the time and
Great.
uh Tiny Temper and all these artists out here. And he gave me, and then he was actually, I don't know if you guys know an artist called Peter Andre, but
Yes.
yeah, from back in the day. So he gave me kind of my first shot with him. And
Wow.
then after that, I was kind of like, well, I also program, because I kind of started getting into programming and building shows. I was always fascinated with with how the whole show came together. So, and he gave me my first shot at that as well. So after that, word kind of started getting around that, oh, Terry's quite good at this and he's super young. And again, I think youth was on my side. Like, I'm not saying it wouldn't have worked out that way if I'd kind of started at, I don't know, 27 or something. But I think the fact that I was so young and just so hungry was kind of on my side. And then kind of started to snowball. And you build relationships and you keep trying to push yourself and try to just do the next job, your current job, do a better job than the last one, and the same thing, just trying to make sure you stay in the room. Because I think I realized getting in the room was not easy, but people were now starting to get in the room, good or bad. But
Yes.
then who was staying in the room, it was kind of like, okay, I got to make sure I stay in the room.
Stay in the room. Yes.
And I didn't really care about that for the first 3 or 4 years, but then I started realizing, hold on, if I want to do this long term, like I should care about it. Like, you
Yeah.
know, yeah. No one's gonna, because I used to just think, yo, I'm in this room now, like that's it, I'm lit. But it's kind of like, yeah, but in 4 years, no one's gonna remember that 4 years ago today you were in this room. No,
No one.
it could be the biggest room in the bro. It could be like Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
No one's gonna remember. Like,
It's over with. It's right after you did it,
yeah,
it's
it
over.
happened. Yeah, it's like, yo, it
Yep.
could be like a DVD recording. This could be like the biggest thing, but life moves on. So you always gotta kind of, and that's kind of been to my detriment a little bit, because now I don't celebrate my wins as much as I should do. All my peers and my friends say that. I don't
Yes.
reflect enough,
Yes.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, I would love to
Yeah.
talk about that too, but you mentioned something
Yeah.
that I would love for you to elaborate about is your intentionality, because you had a conversation with yourself, and then, well, let me ask you this: did you talk to anyone else about what your goals were, your dreams, or you just said, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I believe in, this is
Uh,
where my purpose is, and I'm not sure how spiritual you are, but God,
yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
is this where you want me? And
Yeah.
then you made your move. So how are you still intentional when you're doing warehouse stuff, lighting stuff,
Yeah.
engineering
Yeah.
things, to still
Yeah.
find time to practice, still like,
Yeah.
what were you doing during that time?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great question, bro. I think so. For context, to go back to how I even kind of got started in music, my parents forced me. So, like I said, I didn't come from a
Okay.
musical background, but I'm a PK. So I'm a Christian, grew up in church, and my parents were pastors, and they actually had their own church, um, which they started in 2024. No, sorry, 2004. So yeah, over 20 years ago. So they started that church back then. So after a while of hiring local musicians around, they were kind of like, okay, this ain't gonna keep working. This is too costing a lot of money. One of us has to learn to play, type of thing.
Okay. Yeah,
And you're the
right.
oldest child. And I was like, I don't, bro, I promise you, I had no experience in music. I wasn't one of those kids who in church, you gravitate towards instruments.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
didn't care. Not everybody. Again, mom and dad didn't sing. They were ministers, but they were not musical. So I didn't have a
Sure.
natural pull towards music. So when they were kind of like put this thing in front of me and it was like, you got to learn this, I was like, why? Like, I don't want to, I wanted to play sports. I was like every other kid.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
was
for sure.
very random out of the blue. Like all of a sudden I got to learn this thing, is because normally some parents push their kids to that when they see, oh, he's always tapping away at the piano at church. He's always going to the drums. And so they think, let me push him towards that. But I had no reason to be interested in music. So after about 6 months of, I'm getting forced to do this and learning, had about 4 lessons. Then I started to kind of like it. I was like, oh, you
Okay.
know, yeah, kind of
Yeah.
started to like it. So that was from about 12, 13, 14. And then, yeah, so by the time I started at 12, by the time I got to 16, 17, I was like, oh, I want to do this professionally. So that was kind of the journey, the time
Wow.
frame for that.
Okay.
So with my parents, that a career in music was never the plan for them, because they didn't know that you could have a career in music. It was like you play at church, then you have a day job, then a 9 to 5 during the week. This
Right. Yes.
was career thing. They didn't know, they didn't
Yep.
know that it was a possibility. And from where I'm from, like music or career in music was always associated with being broke all the time, not really being able to manage your money, not many great opportunities. Just, so they had that preconception of, is this really what our son wants to get into? And I was great at school. I was an A student. So they thought you're kind of wasting your potential, type of thing.
Sure.
So when I got to that place, I was kind of talking to them and sharing them, like, I want to do this, but it was kind of like, maybe do it as a hobby, play at church, and like extracurricular, but not like your main
Right.
thing.
Okay. It's fair.
And then in terms of other people I was speaking to, again, because where I grew up, all the OGs, if you like, or the people who'd done it before me, it's either a lot of them some of them had moved to the States, some of them I'm talking those who were like in their 40s, 50s growing up.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Some of them had moved to London. So I really had no access to anyone on the ground in my local area. There were legends from the area, but they weren't there anymore,
Got it.
So like it was kind of hard to get someone who I could just be like, okay, this is what I'm thinking of doing. I want to do what you've been doing for the last 20 years.
Right.
How can I, and how's the industry changed and whatnot. So
Yeah.
it took a while to kind of to gain access to people who I could speak to. But I kind of started to do that through Facebook, hitting them up on Facebook, hitting them up, and some of them would respond, some of them wouldn't. And it was just kind of, to kind of be like, look, in terms of the whole production thing that you mentioned of when I was kind of doing the warehouse thing and the extra, kind of being a backline tech and all that kind of stuff, I feel like it was quite a unique position to be in because nobody that I knew or had musicians who I knew who walked the path that I wanted to walk ever spoke of doing that. So I was
Right.
kind of, I don't know how I came to that. Honestly, I think I was just so desperate to be in the environment. That's what it
Mm,
was. And I just thought to myself, okay, I need to be in the environment. I know this is not what I wanted to do. And it was tough, bro, because a lot of times I'd be working on festival sites of some of the artists I'd love to work with and some of the musicians I looked up to.
yeah.
And some of the way the shifts would work is like, would have to get there so early and then build stuff and then leave. And I couldn't even stick around. They wouldn't even let you stick around so you can meet, like some of the guys. So I'd be like, okay, maybe once we finish, I'm going to go there. And when they come for sound check, I can meet them and they'll be like, nah, don't come back till like midnight.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, it was tough because I was like, man, I just need to find a way to be in the environment.
Yeah.
So doing that was hard because a lot of times, like I'm saying, you'd be working on platforms that I was like, man, I wish I was up there. And I knew I was good enough. Like it was like, I know I can play, I know I can do this. I just haven't had the opportunity yet. So it was
Great.
tough it was tough for that season. But I kind of kept my focus and kept my eye on the goal, thinking, you know what? This is not time wasted because I'm not doing I know I'm not doing what I want to do, but I'm still learning a whole bunch here. Like I'm
Yeah.
learning what a production manager is. I'm learning what a system tech is. I'm learning what a production coordinator is. I'm learning
Yes.
all these things. So it wasn't time wasted. And it was stuff that I didn't know I would use later on in my career in that time. So yeah.
100%. I agree. I think people should kind of take a similar journey of figuring out how to get in the room,
Yeah.
without the necessity of being behind an instrument or whatever your
Yeah.
end game is, right? And I have a
Because every
similar
journey is different, right? So not everybody's gonna enter the same way.
yes, and there's so much value of just getting in the room. If you can get in the room, you are light years ahead of everyone. And I did backline teching. I wasn't
Hmm.
getting calls to be a drummer. I wasn't the call.
Right.
That's why I learned playback, and that's why I was
Yeah.
a tech, because I was like, I know how to set up drums. I could tune drums. I enjoy it. Let me just go do it for my homies.
And it's a
But
humbling experience, bro, when it's like
bro,
doing that, not doing working around the thing you can do very well. Because when
yes,
you were doing teching and doing playback, bro, you knew you could play the gig, whatever gigs you were doing. I could kill this gig on drums,
yep,
but I'm not been hired to do that. So it was one of those. It was the same thing with me, where it's like
yeah,
I know I can blaze this gig on keys,
yep,
but I'm not. I've not been hired to do that.
right,
So I gotta watch somebody else do it and do this.
yeah.
It actually teaches you. It kind of builds your character in a way, you
Yeah, and
know.
I had a different experience. I mean, I thought I could do it. That was the thing that happened to me, is that I thought I could do it, and then I was watching RJ Kelly and Nick Smith approach music,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I couldn't do this. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, legitimately,
Right.
I was
Yeah.
listening to them listen to a song one time, and they could play it like they wrote it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, thank God I didn't get called to do this. Like, I mean,
Right.
legitimately,
Right. Yeah. No, for real. But that's great self awareness, because that's it's being a good at assessing where you are, where you might want to go to, your peers around is really great. Sometimes we need a lot more of that to be able to be like real, honest, fair assessment of, okay, I want to do this, but this is where I'm at, and this is the honest truth. This is where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm on a similar journey right now, bro, with some stuff. With more so in the kind of orchestral, because I'm doing a bit of orchestration. I'm like, okay,
Wow.
I'm working on this, and when it comes to those dots, man, it's got you like you're like, okay, I thought I could do this, but
It's a different
I
beast.
can't. But now that I know, let
Right.
me,
I
work
can
on it.
figure it
And
out. Yeah,
yeah, I
I'm
don't
down
stop
to figure
there.
it out.
So yeah, I'm the type of person where I don't stop at, oh, I can't do this. I'm like, I can't do this right now,
Right.
but I want to. So
Yep.
what do I need to do? So that's I'm kind of on that journey right now with orchestration. Yeah.
I love that, man. And then just to kind of go back to your original point of just getting in the room, that was really your mentality no matter what you were doing.
Yeah.
You took the approach of, okay, if I got to show up to the venue and I'm looking at a calendar a year in advance and I'm planning out, okay, I'm going to go to the
Yeah.
venue. Even
Yeah,
that
bro.
natural proclivity that you had to figure out a way just to be seen and get around, there's a lot of our peers and youth coming up that skip that step.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really have that desire to be the MD or to be the person on stage. And it really
Man.
wants to take me to my next question to you, because you are a prominent MD. You are placing people often. We've had text messages. Do you know anybody who could do
Yeah.
this? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're in a position to be a valuable asset outside of just hiring somebody. You can refer people. So first question is, as a person who was a player and then shifted into being an MD, what was some things that you maybe didn't know or thought a musical director did, but maybe it wasn't in the scope? And then, those types of things, because I think
Yeah.
we see it oftentimes in people's bio, MD, and I,
Yeah.
and I chuckle
100%.
sometimes. And it's not to say that they
Yeah.
don't musical direct,
No. Yeah.
but there's levels to this, and there's requirements that are in a musical director's scope. And okay, your face right now is exactly why I'm asking this, is because
Yeah.
every musical director makes that response, and it's not because they don't love their job. It's not
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
not good
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
There's just a scope outside of the 12 notes of music that is
Definitely.
primarily what your job is. So can you
Exactly.
give us
Yeah.
a briefly overview of that? And then maybe just some adversities you maybe have dealt with where you're like, I wish I would have known that. Like, I would love to pick your brain on this.
Yeah, man. No, that's honestly a great question and kind of great shift. Like, I think the role of being a musical director, I think it's like a lot of roles in the industry. I feel like there's general similarities in the role, things you can't get away from. Like, for instance, you're working on the music of the show. That's every musical director is working on it. You can't be MD if you're not working on the music of the show. That's kind of the foundation, right? You have some sort of involvement in the decision making in terms of the music. Cool. That's kind of, we can generalize that. But then um there's so many factors that contribute to what type of MD you are, the challenges you have to, how much you deal with or don't deal with. So I think for me, and before I even go into it, I think one of the things I'm kind of not fighting on, but like having discussions with a lot of some of the people, because I don't necessarily consider myself an OG or old, or I'm only 30, bro. So
I'm gonna say you're still in your 30s, man.
there's people younger than me, but there's people I've definitely have my own OGs, but there's people now calling me youngs, and it's so weird, bro, because I feel so young. But like,
Embrace it,
yeah,
man. Embrace it.
there's people who are younger than me, and I'm having conversations with them like, don't be in a rush. Like you said, the whole MD in the bio thing, like everybody's throwing that word around so much. I'm like, don't be in a rush. I'm like, this is kind of my general rule to a lot of the younger guys. Don't start being an MD or build an MD servicing company until you've worked under at least 10 MDs. If you've
Yeah,
not worked under at least 10 MDs, where have you learned how to do the job from?
I
Right?
see.
Yeah,
Okay.
where have you're saying you're an MD, you're starting an MD company, where have you, I don't think it's one of those roles where you can just learn by starting like, okay, I've just begun my career. I've managed to pick up another artist who's let me MD. I'm an MD now. It's like, I feel like you have to have those experiences. So you take, but all the MDs I've worked under, I've taken something, some things I've not taken,
Yeah, for
and it's
sure.
helped me form how I am as an MD.
Yes.
So yeah, I just think it's so super important for people to take their time, gain the experience,
Yeah.
and let someone else. Don't be in a rush to do these high stakes roles, because it's let someone else deal with it. Watch someone else be stressed out. Watch someone else deal with the up and
Yes.
downs. Now, when it comes to you, you're really prepared for it, and
Right. And you
watch
can see
someone
if
else.
you actually really want to do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I
Bro, I
always
had
thought I
a
wanted to.
conversation with someone.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
please go
said
for
they
it.
were like, they did it. They were like, yeah, I've been watching you do your thing, and there were some. It was a musician I hired, and they were like, yeah, I just want to play the bass. I don't want to be an MD, and that's good. That's it. You've learned,
That's me.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'll
like,
do it if someone needs it to be done. Meaning like a
right.
MD is like, yo, Jay, I just need you for
Yeah.
no
Please, yeah,
issue. But
right.
I'm not the stress that I see my friends go through.
Yeah, man.
No, thank you.
Exactly.
No, thank
So,
you.
bro, honestly, it's a lot. So to answer your question, I think, um, I would say the higher up you go in your career, or the bigger profile projects you work on, your role as an MD, it becomes less about the music and more about everything else.
Like what?
So
Please give me
I can only speak
examples.
from my experience. And obviously I've worked with other MDs who've shared their experiences with me, but I'll just kind of focus on my experience as an MD. Um, it's things like, the biggest thing I've learned, I feel like my biggest thing as an MD is, or thing that I have to deal with, is managing characters and egos. Yeah, like managing people management, really.
Is that just musicians?
No, bro. All the musicians is the easy part, because a
Thank
lot of
you.
times
I
an
wanted you to
MD,
say that so people were
yeah,
just understood. Yeah.
a lot of times as an MD, you build like I said, most times your background is being a musician, so you've built a reputation, or rapport with people, fellow musicians, session musicians, and they have that respect for you, and it's, you have that, and you understand that you're working as an MD. A lot of times you have your pool of people you work with. I'm always for, to my detriment sometimes, bringing new people in and working with new people, and sometimes that's a bad decision, bro. That's the
Okay.
story for another day. But
Yeah.
like,
No, I would
I'm
like
always
to talk about that too.
I'm always for giving people chances.
Yep.
But most times, most MDs like to work with their group of people, which means you know their personality, you know their character, so you know how to deal with them. So it's usually not really about the band, but it's some of the stuff I'm working on. It's a big production, so you got 80 or 80 to 100 to 200 plus people in the crew. You got creative directors, you got, you know, uh, production people, like creative production, like visual lighting, things that of that nature. You've got management, you've got label people,
Yes.
you've got live agents, you've got, so you have all these departments in the touring world, and then as the MD, you're also leading your department, which is the production of the music and the
Right.
musical vision of the artist. So
I'm gonna have to ask
like,
one question, just so people understand something. Where do you fall in the ranking system of all the people you just named? Right? You
where
just
does who
named,
fall?
as a musical director, where do you typically fall? From you named a lot of people.
Feel like it depends on the project, bro.
Let's say
Honestly, I feel like
broadly.
pardon,
Broadly.
bro. I think from experience, top three,
Top three.
top
Okay.
three.
Got it.
Yeah, because, and then this is from experience.
Yes.
So the artists I've been blessed to work with, they it's their kind of thing is, the music dictates everything else.
Okay.
Dictates, yeah. So the direction of the music. So my kind of process as an MD is, I'll sit down with the artist and get into their head, understand what their vision is for whatever run they're about to go on, or festival season, or album they're about to drop, or whatever, and what it is they want out of the shows, what they want the audience to feel, what they want the experience to be, because that helps me make musical decisions on
Understood.
who to hire, how to arrange the songs, all of that type of thing, how to build the show.
Yeah.
So I say being an MD is in the top in the kind of the touring order is up there. Production manager is definitely up there because they build the thing, they build everything, the show. So and then MDing because yeah, in my experience, artists have been like, let's get the music right first, and that's gonna dictate our decisions on wardrobe, on everything else creative, on assets, visual assets, production assets, lighting, all those type of things. So music is important. Sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes they're like, we want to design the show like this, and this is what it's going to look like, and this is everything else. And then they're like, okay, now build the music around that. So then, I'm not too sure what I prefer. I kind of think I prefer the second because where everything else is built because
Interesting.
there's a blueprint in place.
Okay.
A lot of times, the other way around, a lot of times you're working with artists and they're like, I really don't have any musical vision. Just, I trust you.
Understand.
And then they say they trust you and then they let you do your thing. And then you do it. And then all of a sudden, they now have all these ideas, right? And I'm like, okay, so I just wasted 2 weeks building this and you've just given me notes that I'm going to have to change 90% of the show.
Sure.
So I kind of prefer when they have the other way around, where they've built the show creatively, because now it kind of gives me an idea of, okay, you know what, I'm going to build it like this because this is where you're going creatively. Whereas the other way around, when it's kind of like a blank canvas, they always, bro, in my experience, they always say, I have no musical vision. I trust you. Just do anything. And then when you do something, it's all of a sudden like hundreds of, it's not even like 30% of notes. It's like 85% of notes that they want to change. And it's like, we start the show in 3 days. It's like, so yeah, I kind of prefer the other route where
Fair
there's
enough.
a production foundation. So yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry
Where would you say the NMD lies in the kind of the hierarchy?
I agree with your assessment. I think it really falls into the camp. Well, I think we're seeing a shift in the culture right now where music is no longer the primary.
Exactly.
Even though it's music that we're presenting to people as the primary surface of entertainment, but we are 100% have shifted to an entertainment space. It is not just a music space anymore. So I think it just depends on the camp for
Depends on the
sure.
camp. Yeah, for sure.
And how active a creative director is and how hands off an artist is, how hands on a management team is.
There's
There's
so
a
many
lot.
factors, bro.
There's a lot of
Back
variables.
to people management.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
and then I want to bring you back to what you originally were talking about, when just a job description of a musical director, of some things that we didn't know. People management was big for you. Really, you had to realize that there was a lot of things inside of your scope that were just not music related. The music part for you, and this is a testimony for every musical director, by the way, that's the easy part. The music is the easy part. It's the language we speak, the people that we're technically overseeing. We speak that language very easily. It's change that note, don't like that sound, these voicing is this is what we're changing.
Exactly.
That we could do that easily.
Yeah. Eyes closed. Yeah.
All day. It's the other part of it that it's really the intricacy details of how you want to be presented to management, what's your relationship like with the artist, what's your relationship like with the TM, the PM, were you able to pick your audio team, because that matters. As an MD, they're required to, or their job description really is to help you get your musical vision across the goal. That's really their job. And sometimes you have some people that are all in and they have no opinion and they just want to get it across. And then sometimes you have some people that have been in the game for X amount of time. They're like, well, I do it this way for this reason.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And that's fair, right? I can't discount.
You have to
I can't discount your experience. However, how do we get this thing to work out? But those are the things that at least that I've seen. And that's also a big part of it. I'm like, I'm good on this MD thing.
Yeah, don't blame me, man.
I'll help my friends out. If you calling and like, man, I really need somebody to be there. Got you all day. But I'm not champion for this, like, Jarvis runs an MD company. No, Jarvis does not. I'm not into
I don't
that.
blame you, man.
I'm into I love being number two. I love being number 2. That's why I work so well with DJ. I work so well with
Number
John
2 is
Litt,
super
and
important, bro.
I'm down with
It's
that. He can
we
call and be like, "Yo, this is
yeah.
what's going on. This is the" and vent if he needs to, or you can vent, or any amount can vent, and we can workshop the
Yeah.
idea. I'm
At a
down.
lot at a certain stage, the MD's only as good as or only as successful as their number 2, bro. Super at a certain level when he getting
Yeah.
so busy, and you got so many accounts, bro. Like you really need a solid number 2, like someone like yourself who could be number 1, but they operate really well as number 2. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm good.
so
I'm
yeah,
never
yeah,
gonna be in
yeah,
that space. I'm so
yeah.
good. So how do you go about choosing your team? Because you're in situations often at a high level, and we know what
Uh,
it's like to be at a high level. And let's just briefly talk about that. Being at a high level, we think everything, well, at least we thought everything was gonna be bread and butter, nice and easy
yeah,
when
yeah,
we
yeah.
get there. Everybody's
Super
professional.
organized. Yeah, yeah,
Right. And we find out
yeah,
oftentimes it's the polar opposite. And that's okay.
yeah.
They're
Uh-huh.
really hiring this caliber of professional, and that's across the board in all departments, to be able to execute under pressure and limited amount of time. Right. So when you're choosing your musicians, or you're choosing your playback engineer, or you're choosing your auto team, what things are you thinking about? And I'll tell you why I'm asking, because you brought something up about working with certain people, right? And you
Yeah,
taking
yeah,
liberties on maybe taking a chance, and it's
yeah,
kind of brought me to this idea of people think about gatekeeping a lot,
yeah,
right? They have
yeah,
there's people that are gatekeeping, and I want you to talk about why you choose who you choose, and maybe why you only call certain people back.
yeah, yeah.
That might help people understand why gatekeeping is not as much gatekeeping as they think.
Mm, mm. No, that's a great question, bro. I think, man, it's I'm in a place now, just again from experiences, from time, time as a teacher. You know, I think I'm at a place where I understand why certain MDs are perceived. Okay, the MDs who are perceived as gatekeepers or only work with the set team or the, hire
Right.
the same people all the time. I
Yeah.
understand why they do that, bro.
Why do you think so?
Um, because they're hired to deliver something at a expected whatever the expected level is from the art. What is the artist's expectation of the level of that person or that MD operates at is what they're expected to deliver.
Right.
So they have to uphold that and maintain that from this situation to the next situation, to the next situation. Doesn't
Yep.
matter what you did 2 years ago. Today, like, I've hired you today. Can you still deliver at that same? So, and your word gets around. So I think there's a lot of pressure to deliver at the same level across the different accounts. So because of that, I think it's just it's a decision, a personal decision from the MD, or if it's a company and they have partners, of okay, how to mitigate risk. It's about mitigating risk, I think, at the end of the day. Like
Yes.
they're like, okay, what can we afford to not let drop? Like, especially when it gets to the stage where the MD is not physically in the room now.
Mm,
Because they haven't got 7 of themselves.
right.
And you got Coachella coming up, and 8 of the artists you MD are all doing
They're all
Coachella.
doing
And
it. Yeah. Everybody's in motion.
you
Yep.
can't be yeah, it gets to that point where it's like, okay, what I need to hire a team where I know I'm not gonna get a phone call while I'm in this rehearsal from San Diego or from over here and things are going wrong.
Yeah.
Because that just yeah, bro, you don't that's a position you don't want to be in as an MD.
Yes.
Where you're not on the ground and you're getting calls of things not being in place from management, maybe other band members, or maybe the person you've left as band leader, or even worse, the artist himself. If the artist is
Right.
stepping up to call you, that's crazy. Yeah.
If the
Like
artist calls,
so
there's no conversation.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
fired. See you later.
Yeah. So that's the thing, bro. Like, I think I get that's why a lot of MDs, because they know, and a lot of times as well, it's time constraints with what we do. It's not, we don't get all the time in the world as we would like. You know,
Yes.
I can't remember the last time I had 30 days to build a show, bro.
Never.
That'll be a month to build a show.
Never.
That'll be light work, bro. I don't remember the last time. And so because of those constraints, you need people that I know this person get it over the line. I know Jay can get over the line. I know this person I just know if I need this in 48 hours, if I need this in 24 hours, you can do it. If I need you to learn this piece of material in 2 days, come to rehearsal and execute, I know you can do it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's also time constraints,
Yeah.
It's never personal. I don't think people don't want to give people a chance. I think all things being equal and everything being all the odds being all the circumstances being uh favorable, people would be like, oh yeah, you know what? We got 3 months to lock in. Did you win? And if you're a bit shaky, you've got a few weeks to get it right. This time to do this, I can
Sure.
give you feedback. Give you feedback. But a lot of times you just don't have time for that.
No.
So yeah, I'd say that's probably why, so I get that. So but for me, my personal kind of method of when I'm hiring a team, it's evolved over the years, but now currently it all starts with understanding the artist. I think my mindset personally, and there's no right or wrong, it's just how I work.
It's how you move.
My
Yeah.
mind my mindset now is this is this person's baby, right? So the artist is the principal, I call them. Like it's their baby. So whoever comes around this person, no matter how perceived, how insignificant or significant their role is,
Sure.
however, in whoever's eyes, right? They need to create an atmosphere that's conducive and productive for the artist. That's what I
Yeah.
think of first. So
Okay.
I get to know the artist and get to know how they are, their personality, how kind of how outgoing they are, their personality type for real, and what they're trying to build musically, the kind of sound they're trying to go for, the sonically, their vision. And then that helps me understand this person would work in this room. Okay,
Sure.
this person is an incredible whatever, and their ability would be great in this room. But when we take a break, this person can't be in this room. Like,
Yeah.
like
Okay. Yeah.
when we hang out, and if the artist comes to sit with us for lunch, and this this person opens their mouth, it's game over. Those decisions,
Over.
bro. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't have this person. They just have no social cues or whatever. So I start with the artist first,
Got
understanding the
it.
artist, and how I am as an MD, and it's not always the case because of different factors, but how I am as an MD when I go into something, I go into it, and usually I'll have the conversation with the artist and their team. I'm going into it with a long-term vision.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I'm also thinking, okay, cool. So as this evolves, because I always try to see the in more kind of like long term into the future and try to mitigate too many changes later on. Because
Yeah.
sometimes some hires can work right now, bro. But then
Yes.
it's like, okay, if the art, and you can kind of see the trajectory of the artist, right? I've worked with artists who, bro, their trajectory has changed in 8 months. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, when we started, but now, so you do certain things, you're walking into certain environments, certain award shows and certain things, and you're like, certain people can't be in this environment. Like,
Can't be
so
there.
I always try to, and nobody knows the future, but I always kind of try to look long term, and I'm like, I don't want to be chopping and changing the team all the time. So I try
Right.
to, so yeah, it starts with the artist, and then from then I can kind of be like, okay, cool, this person would work, and this person would work. Again, personality type, and then also who's right for the music. That I'm not
Sure.
saying that's not important. Of course, that's super important. Who's right for the music? I think the biggest thing for me is I always say this. One of the biggest things that I look for when it comes, if we just focus on musicians for a minute, because
Yeah.
obviously there's I hire playback people, audio people. Sometimes artists ask me to bring in a creative director sometimes.
Sure.
But for me, when it comes to musicians, man, I just like musicians who are well versed
Mm.
genre wise.
Okay. If you'd be
Like,
down to do this, I haven't done this with an MD yet, but I would love to explore this with you if you're open to it.
yeah, yeah.
Could we go instrument by instrument, and let's just use the primary four? Let's say
Okay, yeah,
drums,
sure.
bass, keys, and guitar.
Hmm.
And just for everybody else, we're just gonna assume
Yeah,
that you as a person is phenomenal and easy to get along with. We're only gonna
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about
Okay.
what it is, and let's make it concise so we're not dragging this out too long. Maybe the top
Yeah,
3 to 5 things
yeah,
that
yeah.
you look for on each instrument. Are you down to
All
do
right.
that?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. Bro.
Let's go drums, right? That's a pretty common thing. There's a lot of drummers out there that are looking to get placements and be in a world. What are you looking for out of a drummer when you're like, okay, I got to call? And let's assume they fit the genre. What are you looking for?
Yeah. Okay, let's see, assume they fit the genre. Drummers for me, timekeeping, bro.
Okay.
Got to be able to play to the click. And I'm saying this because there's drummers actively working in the industry. Okay, never mind. Let me not say that's
Understood.
okay. You get what
Timekeeping
I'm
is
trying to say.
important.
Yeah,
Understood.
timekeeping is important. Pocket, being
Mm,
able to sit in the pocket. So not just play pocket, but sit in the pocket, bro. It's
got it.
important. And then feel. I think those three, feel being the third one. Feel is super important, bro, because whatever the genre, whatever style of music it is, I want to feel. I want it to make me feel good. And
Yes.
sometimes
Okay.
you can have a drummer who's on time,
Yep.
got pocket, but
Yep.
doesn't feel good.
Yes,
Doesn't
sir.
feel good. So yeah, feel. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. What about bass? Okay, they're husband and wife, if you will, in the music
Yeah.
industry.
Gotta be able to lock in with the drummer. That's for sure. Um, uh, Bass. I think what I really like, because there's obviously cool being, you can be technically gifted and all these different things, know all the notes and scales in the world. But for me, what's really important, or what I gravitate towards on bass, is decision making that
Mm,
adds flavor to the music, but still gives the body of the song. I feel
yeah.
like I love bass players who can adapt the music, or who can, okay, as what we're supposed to do as musicians anyway, and play, we're supposed to enhance the music that's already there, not change it, not
Right.
flip it, but just enhance the energy of the music. So bass players who can enhance the energy of what's already there, and that can feel, that's feel, and that's decision making, not choices. In terms of the, when you kind of go outside of, this is the record, this is what I'm playing, the decisions you make when you play a ghost note or when you play a fill,
Yeah.
those decision making. So the feel and the decision making on bass, and then tone for
Tone's
sure. The
big.
tone,
Yeah.
yeah. And when I say tone, I don't mean, oh, you sound, your tone sounds great. I don't care about if your tone sounds great. I care if your tone matches the record one and is the right, because you
Yeah.
can have a great sounding tone by yourself, and
Yep.
then when we start playing this country music, it's like it doesn't fit for this. Or we're playing some EDM,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
like the tone doesn't match it. So it's got to
Yeah.
the
Right.
tone that matches the record for sure.
W-
That fits for the record. Yeah.
do you think bass players, and I'm gonna toggle to drummers, go back to drummers in a second, but do you think
Yeah,
bass
yeah, yeah.
players are required to also play key bass at this point?
Definitely.
Okay, so they need to
Because
double.
yeah, that's not even a. I think you probably should. No, that's, if you don't play key bass, we can't really. I can't personally hire
You
you.
can't call them, right? They're not
Yeah,
usable.
yeah,
Okay. And then what about
yeah.
drummers with electronics? Do you think that is a requirement now for them or
Bro, it's a
negotiable?
requirement. And again, I'll elaborate on this for both instruments. It's not only a requirement to play those things, because there's drummers who can play electronics and bass players who can play key bass.
Yes.
But what I also need, I need to step further from that from you. I need you to be able to have governance over your department, in terms of,
Mm,
if you need too much, if you like drummers, one of my biggest pet peeves, bro, is drummers who need, like, anytime we're talking about electronics or dialing in this sound, it's like looking for the tech. You always, they need to rely too much on the, bro.
yes. Okay.
Let's say the tech is not here for the next five hours or for the rest of the rehearsal. I need to know that you know how to use your electronics. You know how to troubleshoot if there's a problem. Because some
Yes.
drummers are great at playing the electronics once the tech has dialed everything in for them.
Sure. Yes. Yep.
But it's like, if I need you to change a sample or do something, I need to know you know your the technology inside out.
Yep.
Same with
Okay.
bass. I gotta know that you know how to build these sounds, because you could get someone, or the keys player can build the sounds for you and build the patch for you, and you can
Yeah.
be sound killing on it. But I'm like, if I'm like, okay, I need a little bit more bite on that key bass patch, are you gonna understand what that means and how to give me that?
Right.
So I think, yeah, being able to know your gear inside out is actually more important to me than being able to play, because anyone can just play electronics. You can sit on a drum kit, hit a pad, like, you know,
Yes,
yeah.
100%. Okay, let's
So,
go to guitar. When you're hiring a guitarist, what are you looking for?
man, guitar, guitar. I, I really look for. I think I've been lucky to work with a lot of incredible guitar players in terms of technical ability, right?
Yes,
But what really kind of draws me to it, because there's so many great players who can just play and shred and sound great, and you can give them a song and they can learn it like after listening to one, But
yeah, yep.
what really makes me separates the best from the elite is um guitar players who know how to create parts in music where there's no guitars.
Mm,
Parts where there's no defined guitar parts. Like sometimes you're working on a piece of music and it's like, and every gig is different. And I hear cats and musicians being like, "Oh, this current gig I'm doing is a really heavy guitar gig, or it's a
sure.
really heavy keys gig."
Yeah, yep,
Right?
yep,
So, like, there's a run I'm about to start doing right now. It's a heavy piano gig, bro.
yep.
Like
It's heavy.
90% piano, like an
Right,
Adele type of vibe, right?
right,
Singer
yes, yes.
songwriter. Then there's some gigs where it's guitar. So like on a gig like this, like if it was like a keys gig, right? For instance, or predominantly bass driven gig, where I like guitar players. You don't come to me and be like, yeah, there's no guitar, so how should I play? Like type of thing. I love when guitar players come into the room and like, so, I'm aware you're the MD. I know, there's no guitar in this, in 80% of this music, but I've come up with these parts, you know, and I'll do my best to help them, because most of the shows I do, I'll always kind of send demos of arrangements.
Yeah,
So when a guitar player comes in and we both understand that there's no guitar parts in this music, but I arrange something and then they come with something that complements that arrangement, that's really good. So that's created with guitar players. I guess you can round it up to creativity. I think
okay.
creativity is very important. Yeah, creativity and sound, the tone, like your actual sounds, being able to easily get uh I think being able to understand description as well, for me, is super important with guitar players. I just want to be able to
Yeah.
say, like, I can't be in a room where I'm saying I need more overdrive, or I need more, give me more Nashville, and you don't know what
Yeah,
that means.
yes, 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 yes.
If
Yep,
Yeah, you got to be able to kind of catch those cues quickly. But again, being an MD is understanding how to communicate to different people, because how I speak to this guitar player might not work for this one.
100%.
So then I'm having to adapt and pivot as well,
Yes,
to be
sir.
like, okay, I can. And I know some MDs are kind of like, no, 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 no. My way goes. I communicate the same way to everybody, and y'all just gotta go with it.
Yeah, yep. Uh, I wanna talk about that too, because that's
Yeah,
also
yeah, yeah,
important,
yeah,
but
yeah.
let's get to the
Yeah.
last one, keys, which is your principal instrument. What are you looking for out of keys players?
Mm. Um, Out of keys players, I'm looking for what's the best way to say this? Accuracy. Okay. The word I wanted to say was clean,
Mhm.
but I'm very hard critical on keys because I'm a keys player as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So accuracy in terms of, I'm the type of MD or type of keys player who will want to learn all the intricate parts of a song. I'm not just gonna learn the main keys part. Like someone might, if it's a pop record, there might be piano, and then there's all this. I'll learn the string parts.
Mhm.
I'll learn the arpeggio, just in case. I want to learn all the parts of the record. So
Yeah,
I look for, and then be able to execute that accurately, timing
yes.
wise. So that's more of a technical ability thing. So I really think I really like keys players who are technically clean, like record, can play as close to the record standard as much as possible. Also, discipline.
Do you mean sonically matching the record? Do you mean voicing matching the record? All the above when you come down to accuracy?
Yeah, I'd say all the above, but in this particular moment, what I was specifically kind of alluding to was more like the execution of the part.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know, something like "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough," right?
Sure,
That string
yes,
at the
yes, yes.
beginning, like being able to play that accurately.
Got it.
I don't want to be in a situation where I want you to play that, and it's like, can that go? Is that not in the box? And you're looking around like, no, like, so being able to play intricate parts live, I really like when keys players take the initiative to learn the parts that someone else would be like, man, that's
Okay.
gotta go in the, that's gonna go in the box, man. I can't, you know, like if you take the initiative
Yeah,
to learn that part, that's really impressive to me.
sure.
So that, and then discipline of, you know what, I could play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yep.
But this song only needs one. So I'm gonna stick to one,
Yes.
and I'm gonna play that for 4 minutes.
Right. And just hang out there. Okay.
Yeah, like, so if you got that discipline,
Yeah.
and just having I think having the discipline mindset, because there's a lot of guys who, and you can hear it in their playing. This is my philosophy as a keys player, bro. There's guys who have a disciplined mindset, and there's guys who play with discipline.
Yes.
Disciplined mindset is when you understand why I'm being disciplined, and you appreciate the music
Yeah.
and why you're being disciplined. And then playing with discipline is where, and I get a lot of cats who are like, man, yeah, I played like this for the 4 minutes, but I was bored as heck, man. This music is dry, like I'm not
Right.
enjoying it. It's like you're doing it because you got to get the paycheck, but you're not
Yeah.
understanding the value in being
Sure.
disciplined.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, because a lot of cats will play the part and it's like, man, I gotta play these 3 chords for the whole song, but they're not understanding the beauty in that. But no, you don't understand. That sounds perfect, you
Yeah.
know. So
That's,
yeah,
I think that's great. I think you gave very valuable tools for people who are looking to
yeah,
be in the space. You know, you
yeah.
have like keys, guitar, bass, and drums that you really just laid out. Of course,
Mhm.
there's other instruments out there, and Terry's a
Yeah,
phenomenal person. So if you want more details, I'm sure if you send him a DM and book a consultation with him, he's happy to
for sure,
guide
for
you
sure.
along. But I just wanted to get a few of those gems out there that I think a
Yeah,
lot
man,
of
super
musical
important.
directors are looking for. Right? Those are
Hmm.
the things that I'm dealing with in consultations where people are like, "Well, what do they need when?" I'm
What are
like,
you looking
"Well,
for? Yeah.
do you play electronics?" "Well, I don't." This conversation's
Yeah,
over. Like
yeah.
there.
In this day and age, anyway, for sure.
It's
Yeah,
literally the thank you
yeah,
for your time, but there's nothing else that we need to talk about right now. Go get your electronics up. And the same thing with I feel this way about reading. People are still struggling with reading music. I'm like, guys, just do it. You know, it's never gonna hurt you. It will only help you and allow you to have more opportunities. And I want to play the Oscars and BET was like, you think they're
yeah.
learning all these songs
Yeah, like,
without
bro,
charts?
like,
Like, are you crazy?
yeah, like learning extra and pulling your finger out and learning more than maybe you might feel like you need to. Like you said, it's never gonna hurt you. You're never gonna be in a position of like setback or a negative position
Sure.
by doing that. You could even like, bro, like I don't remember like when I kind of uh decided I was gonna learn to read properly a few years back, but then I could say maybe in that time I've had to use it for as a player anyway, maybe twice.
Yeah, sure.
As an MD, a lot more, but as a player, maybe twice. But I'm like, okay, someone else could be like, see, it's not even that much frequent work in that space. But I'm like, yeah, but I was still able to do those 2 gigs
Yeah,
because I could. So
100%.
it might have only been two, but you know, if I
You
really
were,
want to dig into that space, I can do. You know,
yeah, you were an
and so yeah,
option.
it's a skill. Yeah, honestly, bro, it's never gonna be a waste of time to learn to read. Yeah,
Absolutely. Now, you brought up something, and I know this might be a little controversial, but it's okay. It's off script. Let's get to it.
yeah.
Um, about dealing with personality types, and I would love for you to talk about it on both sides of the coin because you still are on both sides of the coin, right? You'll be a player, and you'll also be a musical director. And what I really want to discuss is dealing with like adversity and want to potentially give insight or feedback and that kind of stuff, right? So as a player, is that something that you would offer? Or do you take more of the role, I'm here to be of service and whatever the MD or artist says, that's what I'm going to do.
How do you mean? Like, explain the question again.
So some people dive into spaces where I guess I won't bait the question. Essentially what it is like there's a lot of people out there, musical or musicians that they think they know best, right? They know best and
Yeah,
no, this sub
yeah,
note that's the right way to do this. Nah, this
yeah.
fill it's okay to put triplets and sixteenths, right?
Right.
You know, and we've all dealt with it, right? We've dealt with it as
Exactly.
players being
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
side of it,
yeah,
and we've dealt with it, you know, whatever.
yeah.
So how do you deal with that? Do you offer advice as a player? And then are you open to advice and ideas as a musical director? Where are you at with this?
Oh, okay, I get you. I mean, for kind of going back, kind of in reverse, like one of the things I'm super grateful for, and happy about, not to kind of blow my own trumpet or anything, but like a lot of people who work with me, like musicians who work under me as an MD, they all say like one of the things we love about working with you is you haven't got you don't let your ego get in the way. Like you haven't got that wall up of it always got to be my way. It always got to
Yeah.
be my decision, my idea.
Yep.
Like, bro, I'm open in my rehearsal is uh an open space for anyone to contribute to. Of course, there's a way of doing things and there's a way of presenting your idea, and there's just like in any um organization or institute or whatever, there's a way of doing things. But like anyone in the room can give feedback, can suggest something, can note something that's off, and they never feel. That's one thing I want to make the environment for people to not feel like, oh, I'm kind of overstepping. And when I first kind of started working like that, some of the guys would come to me and be like, after they maybe did that in rehearsal, call me like, oh man, I just want to apologize for earlier, man. Like I didn't mean to be overstepping if I was, and I'm
Yeah.
like, man, thank you for that. That was such a great idea. Like,
Sure.
never feel like you can't suggest that, because maybe they've been in environments where that's kind of frowned upon us. Like,
Yeah.
yo, don't, and I'm that person because I think I study high achievers. One of the things I love to do is study high achievers in every space, right?
Yes.
Any space, like in business, in sports, and whatever. I study high achievers. And one of the common things they all say, bro, is you want to be the least talented, the least smartest, the least wealthiest in the room, bro.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm in a room where I'm hiring geniuses, bro. So
Yes.
you got better ears than me, and I'm trusting that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I've got the musical vision because that's what
Sure.
I've been hired to do. But how we get there, I'm hiring the best people who can do that. So the best, bro. I work with some guys who are geniuses in terms of like they can hear stuff that I'm like, how did you hear that
Yeah. How'd
off
you
thing
hear
that
that?
was in as you
Yeah.
know, in the middle of a string quartet and vocal layers and keyboard layers and programming and this, and you can hear something, and we literally strip it back and then you solo it, and it's like, man, there was one thing that was like out of time, out of key.
Yeah.
It's like, how
Yep.
did you hear that? Like,
Yep.
so working with people who are like that is great. So for me, I like to create an environment where people can feel comfortable to do that. But then and when it's kind of my room, when I say my room, I mean if I'm the MD,
Sure. Yep.
then I kind of have the freedom and I guess, yeah, to be kind of like, okay, you need to work on that, or whatever. I think we're not in a time anymore, not to be controversial, but I don't think we're in a time anymore where people are good at taking
Yes.
feedback and advice and criticism, yeah,
Yeah.
criticism and or critique. I don't think people handle that well. I feel like people are we're a little bit more softer now, and I feel like in the times of my OGs, because even though I'm kind of 30, so I'm in the kind of like that's kind of age bracket I fall into.
Hmm.
Um, I've studied a lot of my OGs. I've sat down for hours and hours with a lot of my OGs, and they talked to me about how things were
Yeah.
in their time, bro. And there was just no time to get sensitive about something. If you were whack, you'd be told this is whack. Go home. Like,
Yeah.
it's not. You need to work on this. And it wasn't personal. It
No,
was all for
never.
the end product. We need the end product to be excellent, and you're not
Yeah.
operating at an excellent level right now. So this
Right.
is what you need to work on. X, Y, Z. Go and do it.
Yep.
And at that point, you have to sink or swim. So I feel like one of the issues now is I tend to find my thing is I'm always saying this to the next generation coming up under me and going back and back. Like, it doesn't matter. There's so many players who are better than you and me, bro. There's some of
Oh,
these young
yes.
guys, they can play us under the sun, bro.
Oh,
But
easily.
one thing they don't have over us, bro, is experience and time. And I'm like, I don't care how much chops you can do or how fast you can play. you can, Jay's been doing this for X period of time. He's worked in these roles. There's going to be some piece of advice that you can learn from him, right? And I think not being in a small-minded headspace of like, I can only learn or take critique from someone who, one, is better than me technically, because that's not the only technical mastery is not the only, or not even the most important tool of success in this game, as you know.
Nope.
It's not. It really isn't.
It's
Like,
not even close.
it's great to be an incredible player. It really is. And
Yeah.
it's well done for that. But like, it's not the only tool. So when you have a small mindset of I can only learn from this type of person or person who you perceive to have success, right? So
Sure.
what I mean by that is I could be working in a room with a new playback tech
Mm-hmm.
who I feel like who he could come in and be like, "Oh, thank you for this opportunity, man. This is my first professional kind of situation," and then sometimes I see situations where that's the case, and then automatically people think, "Oh, well, that person couldn't possibly contribute anything." Like, cause
Sure.
this is your first rodeo, like.
Right.
So, but I'm always like, I'm always listening to everyone, bro, taking advice
Yeah.
from everyone, getting people's opinions. Like, what do you think about that? And a lot of times, at first, sometimes people can think it's because I'm not sure of the vision or where we're going, and that's not the case. I know where we're going, but I want you to be. Sometimes I just do that as an exercise to get people comfortable in the room. So I'm already
Yes.
kind of I'm happy with the take, and I'm happy for us to move on. But I'll be like, what do you think of that, man? And it could
Yeah.
be like the front of house engineer.
Yes.
And and
Yes.
and
Yes.
and what
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
actually doing in those moments is I'm actually building because oftentimes I have to work with new people or people I've not worked with before. So I really want anyone who's working with me to be comfortable. So oftentimes I have to make the initiative to break the ice. So sometimes
Yes.
I'm asking so much. I'll be doing some silly, like the most mundane stuff, like, yo, I was thinking of going with this keyboard patch, but how does it sit in frequency wise in your mix?
Yeah.
You know, I'm the
Yes.
MD. Technically, I don't have to do that, but
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I'm trying to break the ice and build that rapport with you. So
Right.
I'm gonna do things like that. I'm gonna, ask questions, make sure everyone kind of gets a chance to speak.
Yes.
You know, and some people are more vocal than others. That's just a personality thing. But I think creating that environment is super important. So yeah, I don't know if that answered the question,
No,
but
it's great. I think you gave
yeah,
a lot of gems for people
yeah,
to just sit
yeah,
and marinate in. I want to ask you too, because you brought up the younger generation, and this is a big part about why I've structured this platform was it's just to
right,
legitimately help, right? I want to give a place for people like ourselves, our 15, 16, 20-year-old selves where we were dealing with so many things we just didn't know. So dealing with criticism, because I agree with you, by the way, I 100% agree with you. I've seen a lot of people lose jobs because they don't take the feedback well. And I think they don't remember that no one's bigger than the program and the program is the show,
yeah, yeah,
and it's just that. And it
yeah,
doesn't matter what department you're in, everyone here is hired to get the show to be the best thing possible. So dealing with criticism, right? When you give it, I'm sure you're always trying to be as diplomatic and respectful as possible. However, that's not always the case, and we don't always have time to give you the betting of,
yeah,
hey man, you
yeah,
sound really
yeah,
great.
yeah,
I know what you're trying to do. We don't have time for that. Yo, I don't like that
yeah,
fill, change it. And we legit have to
yeah,
move on, right?
yeah, yeah.
So what would you give or what would you tell musicians to just understand about feedback, because I've seen rooms, right? I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah, yeah.
rooms where I've seen a musical director literally cuss the entire team out. I mean, give it to
Yeah,
them
yeah, yeah, yeah,
full
for
on.
real. That's
And then I
yeah.
also watched them not phase at all. They didn't
Okay.
have attitudes. They didn't have an
Uh-huh.
ego. There was no one who had a rebuttal. There was no
Uh-huh.
one that shifted the energy in the room, including the MD. The MD said what he
Right.
needed to say, got it
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
and then everyone in the room just moved on. They kept laughing, they
Yeah.
kept moving on, they just moved on. And I was like,
Exactly.
oh,
Uh-huh.
that is the standard.
Yeah. 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 For
So
sure.
okay, so back to my original question. What
Yeah.
are you expecting and what would you try to teach them, at least mindset wise? Because I think that's a
Uh-huh.
mindset. It's just
Yeah. Yeah. It's
understanding that. So
mindset thing.
what would you give
Yeah.
them?
It's super important, like, to try and have this kind of on I guess, have this developed or within before you step into this industry. Of course, you can develop it as you're going, but it's a big benefit if you kind of work through this before that. And I think one of there's few things I mentioned. One of the things I want to mention first is try your best, because bro, I know what it's like. We both know what it's like. I've been young. I've been fired off gigs, bro. I've been told off by the MD and
Yep.
singled out in a rehearsal. I've been in rehearsals where it was full production rehearsal and I'm
Yep.
messing up, and the MD says, Terry, and just the metronome play. And they
Get
kind
to
of,
it.
and I got to play in everyone and expose my mistake to everybody. I've been, in those rooms or whatever. So it's not a great feeling, but I always say, like, before you get into this industry, try to make sure that your identity isn't rooted in the platform you're on or the gig you're doing. That, I think, when you work through that first,
That's good.
it solves a lot of problems, bro, because you're
Yeah, it's
going into
great.
stuff going, look, I'm grateful to be here, but I'm a great musician with or without this platform. Without, like, whether or not I'm playing on Super Bowl, I'm good at what I do. Take pride,
Yes.
and you can only, but then the flip side of that is you can only have confidence in that if you're genuinely good at what you do and you're a student and you've put the 10,000 hours in,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know? So that confidence of I'm good at what I do only comes from the hard work to be good at
Sure.
it, right? So not having your identity rooted in whatever, because I see a lot of musicians demeanor fluctuate based on what they do. If it's like a busy period, oh, they're so happy, they're bright, when work's not as busy,
Yep.
it's kind of like, man, and it's like, bro, you're a dope musician regardless of what gig you're on. Like, like, yo, I have so much respect for people who are good at what they do.
Yes.
Not who are on the biggest gig or whatever. If you're good at what you do, and I've seen you on a big gig, and it's like, oh, yo, but from that point on, it's not, yo, that's Jay who plays drums for this artist.
Right.
No, that's
Yeah.
Jay who's a great drummer.
That's it. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's it. So not having your identity rooted in that solves a lot of problems, because when you get criticism, or even when you, God forbid, get fired or get a change happens in the camp and it's not your gig anymore,
Yeah. Yep.
it's not gonna, it shouldn't damage your ego or your identity or your identity or how you know yourself. You should like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm still great at what I do. And I understand that this change doesn't define, or this piece of criticism, or the fact that I need to work on something doesn't negate that I'm also still good at something else. Like,
Yes. Yep.
there's some, I think being open to being a sponge and continuously learning will help you be in that position where, you know what, you could be like, I've attained this level of success, but I can still learn. Like, there's been times where I'm always calling you for things,
Yeah.
asking you questions about playback, asking you questions about,
100%.
and that's because I don't mind looking stupid or being like, oh man, he didn't know that.
It's
How do
just
you not know
we need
that?
help. Yeah. Everybody needs
You know,
help.
I
Everybody
don't
needs
know
help.
everything. Like,
Yeah. And
and
being
so
okay
I
with that
think,
too. I agree.
yeah, being and not being and learning not to be defensive. I think it's a process. Like, you got to learn not to be defensive. You got to learn to just and again, another thing is to not be defensive. And part of not of being defensive, you're taking it personally.
Right.
Yeah. So if you
Yeah.
learn how to navigate criticism and feedback, not personally, that's why the room you mentioned, like, everybody kept it moving. But
Literally.
I've been in rooms where MD says something or someone gets given feedback and that person can't even continue for the rest of the day. And it's like, doc, you got to
Yes.
get your head in the game. It's only 3:00. Like, we gotta,
Yeah. We gotta move.
yeah. But then it affects, and I used to be like that at the beginning. So I'm speaking from experience, because I remember early on in my career when I used to work with certain MDs because there's different types of MDs. Some MDs are more harsher than others a little bit in terms of their approach.
Yeah.
And I worked with some MDs who were just barking at me. And I remember, like, it could be like 12:00 on the day, and I'll be cooked for the rest of it. I keep making mistakes now. Like, my demeanor is messed up. My focus is
Yeah.
messed up.
Yep.
So part of being professional and hireable for what we do and being good enough to work in this industry is being able to work through that.
Right.
So not letting a piece of maybe what you perceive as negative feedback or a glitch in the day affect the rest of the day. You still
Yes.
got to deliver. Like, bro, even in the middle of a show, like there's
Yeah.
times where I'm having to shout at someone in the middle of a show. You still got to hold it together. Like, you got to
Yep.
just take the L. Okay,
Yep.
my bad, I messed up, but we in or whatever. We still,
Move
you know,
on. Yeah, move on.
it shouldn't unlock a sequence of mistake. Focus, wrong note. I forgot the intro. Like, you know, so it's
Yeah.
about being able to stay focused.
Yes.
I think it's super important. Yeah, you know,
I
yeah,
love that. I agree. I
because
think what
nobody's above criticism at the highest of levels.
no,
Everyone gonna get it.
and it's
And
okay.
sometimes that's from the artist. Sometimes that's from the artist. And I think what's funny sometimes is when artists give you feedback that everyone looks in the band all look at each other like, that makes no sense. And you all look at each other like, did you just hear what this artist just said? It
Yeah,
makes no sense.
but
But you
you
gotta
got to do
smile
it.
and be like, yeah. Or even sometimes where they're like, you could be literally playing the drum pattern exactly as the record, and then they're like, that's wrong. That doesn't sound like the record. Literally gotta be like, okay, how do I
And then
so
you gotta
how
sort
do we
that
fix
out.
it? Yeah,
Yeah,
how do we fix it? Yeah, like yeah.
you got to sort it
Like
in real time. And I agree with you. I think something that helped me too is accepting that this is not about me. Musicians have a thing, and it's kind of our community. Our community has fire emojis and y'all, bro, you're killing and you sound great all the time, and that's fine, right? It's totally fine, and I'm not crapping on that experience. However, if you've only heard that you're killing, you're only seeing, yo, killing chops, you sound great, and all this. Well, as
yeah.
soon as someone says, I don't like this,
Mhm.
now you're messed up. But
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that really helped me just accept is it's not about me. And
Right.
also musical directors, creative directors, artists, they always see the bigger picture past you.
Trust you, yeah, for sure.
You know, and that's the biggest thing too, is like I never want to be someone who steps over someone or interferes with their process. And when
Uh-huh.
MDs give criticism, and ironically, all the MDs I've worked for primarily have been drummers and great
Right.
drummers.
Uh-huh.
You know, bro, I've gotten up, you know, literally like, yo, get up. And
Damn.
they'll
Oh yeah,
cut it.
yeah.
They'll
Yeah,
literally
yeah, yeah.
cut it right. And I'm like, I'm fired. And really in their brain, they're just like, I just got to get over it. You can see it now, and we're
You
going to
can
move
see it
on.
now.
They're
That's it.
literally
That's it.
not thinking
That's it.
anything else,
Yeah, yeah.
but
So sometimes
accepting that it's
we're
not about me.
overthinking. We're overthinking. Yeah,
Right. Because I think
yeah.
when musicians were so attached to this creative thing, and I get it, right? It's personal. We've devoted so
Yeah.
much time and energy to it, and there's value in that. However, it's not that big of a deal. It's 12
Uh-huh.
notes. You know,
Yeah.
we're not doing brain surgery. We're not, solving world hunger or any
Yeah.
of that. We have value.
For real.
Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. We have
Yeah.
incredible
Real.
value and influence, and that's beneficial. But when you overcomplicate it, it gets real
Do man, we do.
crazy.
It really is can be really simple. More simple
Yep.
than we make.
All right. There's something else that you talked about earlier was auditioning. And early on, you said you might have done some auditioning. What do
Yeah.
you think about auditions now? Right? Do you think auditions are happening more frequently? Do you think auditions are happening at all? Is that an avenue where people are like,
Uh-huh.
well, no one's posting auditions, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm not getting
Yeah.
work. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts behind that?
Yeah, definitely when I started my career, there was a lot of auditions at that time. So I'm talking like 2012,
Okay.
13, then and a lot of auditions going on in the US, in the UK too. A lot of artists obviously touring. A lot of artists most artists who were in the charts wanted a battle.
Yes.
Whether it was EDM, whether they were country, whether they were pop, R&B, there was a lot of things going on. Now from where I stand and how I kind of see things, um, and from how the air that I have on the ground, I don't feel like I'm most tapped in with what's going on with everybody and everywhere. But
Yeah, yeah.
the little what I do know is I feel like it's not as much anymore. Not as much auditions happening. Maybe there is, but from what I'm personally seeing, I don't seeing a lot of it. Because when I mean just the ratio, I feel like when I started my career, it would be like 60% of auditions. I mean, throughout the year, it'd be like 60%
Wow.
of the year there's auditions, man. Like
That's massive.
whether it's for a tour or even if it's just like for one TV performance,
Yeah,
there was
yeah,
audition.
for sure. Yeah.
Um, now I feel like I see advertisements for auditions maybe twice a year now.
Mhm.
Like in the whole industry, in the
And
UK and America.
yeah,
Yeah, I just
absolutely.
see like maybe twice. Like maybe the last time I saw one was last year in summer. Like, you know, so I feel like definitely. I mean, I'm sure there's more than that, but relatively that number is reduced, and I think social media has a part to play in that. People are using social media and Instagram as a auditioning platform. Like again, as an MD, the last 4 artists I've worked with as an MD have all said to me, "Send me the Instagram profile of the band you're thinking of hiring." They've all said that.
Oh,
All of them. Like last 4 artists I've toured with as an
wow.
MD, they've said to me, the 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 band members that eventually played for them were more or less selected by them, even though that's my job. But the only way I'd caveat that is I'm gonna only send the musicians that I'd be happy doing the job. Like,
Yeah,
as in I'm
100%.
not gonna. So I'm like, okay, cool. You want 2 options for bass?
Yep,
I'll make sure both those 2 options would be people I would have on this project.
yep.
So that way, I'm I'm guaranteed I'm gonna get someone who I'll be happy with on the gig.
I
So
love
yeah,
this.
last 4 times artists have asked me to they want to be involved. So that tells you that social media, Instagram to be particular, um is a kind of your resume, and they're not just listening to how good you play. Really,
Okay.
musicians, we're listening to how good our videos or whatever. They could just look at your video and be like, oh, it's in black and white. I'm not feeling it. And you could be killing. It
And
could be
killing.
something
Yep,
so simple like, oh, the video's in black and white, or the audio doesn't sound great. They're switched off already, and you could be so killing, right? So I find a lot of times that I've literally been next to an artist and they've been like, show me the Instagram. I give them the phone and they show them Instagram. They're looking and like, okay, cool. The video. Oh, the lighting looks good. Oh, that looks. Oh, they just see you standing in front of a sea of people. Like, oh, this looks like good energy. And it's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
And the thing is, not everybody is at a stage where they've got that type of content where they've played. Some people haven't played in front of a sea of people yet, right?
Sure, yeah.
So, but it's kind of about packaging whatever you're doing in a good way. So it's almost kind of like your, I'd say to musicians that you're pitching to 2 sets of people. Musicians, or MDs who are gonna definitely be interested in how good you can play and how good you can execute, right? That's always a given. As much as it's not just about that, I still want to need players. I'm personally going to need players who can play. I can't.
Facts,
I'm not at the stage as an ND where I can hire players who can't play. It's
facts.
important to me.
Yep.
You got to be able to play. Or I guess the points we touched on about each instrument, those you got to have those things. But then you got artists and label people who are also looking at your. So you could probably get away and sell yourself to me with just a video of you sounding great.
Sure.
But if the video doesn't look good, or the location of the video, or what you're wearing isn't great, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
there's a whole nother demographic of the industry who are not gonna who are gonna switch off to your video.
Can you talk
So I
about
think it's
that?
yeah, like
Like, yeah,
again,
what are they looking for, right? Like, and obviously you can't say for
yeah,
certain, but broadly,
yeah.
what you've experienced, and
Well,
I'm gonna co-sign this point, by the way. I've gotten
yeah,
selected for multiple gigs because of
right,
my Instagram. So
yeah,
that I'll be straight up honest
exactly,
with people about it. It's
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
fit,
Right,
looking
yep.
good, what I'm putting out
Energy,
there.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
no
yeah,
drugs
yeah,
on there. There's no right. So what are they looking
exactly.
for?
Yeah, and I think again, it goes. We can answer that generally, but again, it kind of goes back to you understanding where you want to fit in the game, right? To the industry,
Mm,
because there's something out there for everybody.
yes, sir.
Um, like if I post myself, like there's gonna be situations or certain types of artists where, oh, that can run, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like if I'm trying to get on the road with Snoop Dogg, I can post to the joint, play my
Yeah. No
instrument, you know.
worries. Right.
But if I'm trying to, I don't know,
Play for any pop
Adele or so,
artist. One
any
hundred
pop
percent.
artist, it might not be. So I think if you identify where you want to be and know these are the type of gigs I want to do. So when you know the type of gigs you want to do, then the next thing after that is understanding the type of people who are in that space. If it's pop, if
Yes.
it's country music, right? Some people just want to play country music, or some people will just want to become like a Teddy Campbell. Some people want to do TV
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and award shows and things like that,
Sure.
right? So once you understand that, it should help you make decisions on what to post. Bro, if I'm trying to do country gigs and be super booked and busy in the Nashville space, ain't no point in me posting me playing a whole bunch of Meg Thee Stallion. Like,
Right.
no, for real. Like, how?
You know, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
there's just no. It can sound great, but it's not gonna attract, or
Yes.
it's not gonna show the the space that I want to be in. It's not gonna show them what I can do for
Yeah,
that
there's no
space.
trust behind
So
that.
yeah, there's no trust behind it. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you sound great at this, but we got 4 guitars on stage and we played this type of music. So
Right.
how do we know? So it's gotta, everything you're trying to do and what you're trying to get yourself into has got to align, right? There's musicians who sometimes hit me and they're like, man, I really love the type of gigs you do. I really want to work in that space. And I'm like, I look at their page and all you're playing is just like, I
Polar
don't know, just
opposite.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yes.
just all just the same thing. You show
Yes.
me any diversity. It's like, oh, your last 6 videos are just hip hop or just chops. Or
Yep.
you chopping over some gospel. It's like,
Yeah.
but you telling me you want to play like alt pop or indie,
Right.
So how? So I think you've got to know where you want the space you want to be in, and then to answer your question about the other side of the industry that are looking, it's like they're just looking for. And when I say the other side, we just summarize it as the artist side. They're looking for they. A lot of people feel like they can read the type of person you're gonna be from your Instagram. That's not always the case, but they feel like based on the way you're playing, the way the video is, even stuff like they're assessing everything. They're assessing the music you're choosing to
Huh?
show, to post, or the clips. Sometimes they can be like, okay, he chose to post this clip. He must be this type of person. Because why did
Yes.
you choose to post that type of clip instead of this? Or especially when it's stuff of you talking or social stuff. Because
Yes.
sometimes people mix work and social or leisure stuff on social media. So you got to be careful about if you're posting stuff from vacation or if you're
Yes.
posting family stuff, what kind of family stuff. Because there could be stuff where your general Instagram followers ain't gonna even blink twice. They ain't gonna, oh yeah, that's normal. Or it could be, but then industry people or people who are hiring could be
Yes.
like, could see one thing and then that could kind of, they could run with that conception of you. And
Or
that
they'll
could not really
pivot.
even be who you are, but like
Yep.
they'll run with that, right?
Yep.
For the rest of them. So you gotta be, I feel like, yeah, man, you gotta be super mindful of what space you want to fit in. And I think right now, to be honest, bro, it's super easy. We can summarize it like this. Look at the people who are in the spaces that you want to be in and are doing what you want to do, and look at what they're posting.
Copy and paste. It's really simple.
Look at what's on their
Yep.
socials. If you're looking at this other complete opposite, but you want to be doing this, it's like, okay, maybe I need to switch it up.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
man.
to co-sign it, I think people need to ask themselves why they post certain things. And I have a weird thing. Private accounts to me outside of working in like a school system or a state job is interesting to me because I'm like, what are you posting that's so private? Anyway,
I don't understand it. Yeah,
but
yeah,
but when you're posting things, you got to ask yourself why. Why am I posting this? Am I
yeah.
posting it for attraction? Am I posting this for job placement? Am I posting this because I'm bored? What is this
Yeah.
showing someone? Is it showing someone that I drink a lot? Is it showing someone I do drugs? Is it showing someone that I love my girl or don't love my girl? Right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what are you posting and why are you posting it? If you
Why
can
are you posting?
answer why,
Mhm.
you oftentimes will be like, that's not worth it.
That's not worth it. Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's the
Yeah.
same
So
thing
I
when you're
yourself
responding
that
back to
disagree.
text or email. I'm like,
Yeah.
angry that what? No,
Yeah,
delete.
yeah, yeah.
You know, just delete that bad boy. Just
For
because
sure.
why? Why are
Yeah,
you
for
doing
sure.
that?
Yeah, and like you said, sometimes it's just as simple as that. Taking a minute, assessing, and okay, maybe not the best decision. If you just think
Yes,
about it, sometimes you actually often make better decisions. On whatever.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you out of here in a second, but I have one final question, and it ties into what we were just talking about. Why, right? Being in the music industry, just because this platform for me is just an honesty platform, and well, not a deterring platform, but honesty.
Yeah.
And being a musician is not the easiest path, right? You're gonna deal with a lot of adversity. You're gonna have a lot of times where you're up, You know, you're on
Yep.
tour and you're making a lot of money, and you're in times where you're
Yeah.
gone 6 months and you have
Sure.
no work, right?
No work. Yeah.
And that's normal, right? That's a very common theme for a lot of musicians.
At any level.
At any level, yes, at any
Yeah.
level. So, but why we do something, if I asked you why you were to do it, you could probably tell me. If you asked me why, I could probably tell you.
Yeah.
What would you advise musicians on creating that why so they at least understand where they're going, and when they deal with that adversity of Terry was a jerk to me and he didn't answer my DM, they keep going.
Yeah.
You know, Jarvis
Right.
never
Right.
was a jerk to me in rehearsal and he didn't hated this and thing, but keeps you going. You know, Adam Blackstone never
Yeah.
took my call. Chris Pooley, you know, etc. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But you need to know why, right? What would you advise them on developing that why, on how to develop the why?
I think, yeah, that's a super deep question. I think,
So-
because like you said, this is not the easiest of journeys to walk or easiest of things to do. But then, like my dad always says, nothing, worthwhile or gratifying is ever easy
yeah,
or
yeah,
a walk in the park. So, yeah, I think the why is especially in this line of work, it's super important because, and I'm always trying to get this across to people who want to come in to the industry. Like, there's a lot of more lows than highs,
yeah, yes,
or ups and downs, or there's a lot more than of those than the highs. Of course, what the industry perceives or shows or highlights is the ups. So that can oftentimes be very attractive to people on the outside, right?
mm,
Some of the things we're lucky to do, you know, sometimes you fly private, you stay
yeah,
in the best hotels, you're all over the world, and people are seeing that because we share that, and
yep,
as we should, we've worked hard to be there, so we're just sharing, you know, what we're doing, right?
yeah,
So people oftentimes they see that and then they get fixated on that, and that's what I'm always saying this to musicians, like, because there's a lot of musicians. There's so many people who can play an instrument or learn to play an instrument. Not every, and some of them do it at a very high level. But like I know so many guys who are great players, incredible players. They're surgeons, bro. They operate. They that's what they do.
yes,
They're working out. They're surgeons. They don't
yes,
tour.
at
They
all.
don't tour.
Yep,
They some of them are sports coaches. Some of
yes,
them are. I know musicians who are fashion designers and they're great.
yes,
You know, and they can still play. So being good at an instrument doesn't automatically mean you were made or created to tour or do this as a career. So it comes to asking yourself why you want to do this. And I'm always saying this to musicians. A lot of cats always saying to me, young guys, like I said, 14, 15, 16, I really want to tour. I really want to do this. And I'd be like, why?
yeah. Why?
Why do you want to do that? And sometimes the answer is, well, it just like, it looks cool because I saw this person and they got this free drum kit from this company, and it's like, okay, the answer reveals that. So I think I'm
Yeah,
always encouraging people to ask yourself that question. And anytime people want to come around me, like in terms of musicians want to come to a rehearsal or want to come to a show or just want to hang out,
yeah,
I'm always kind of asking the question: why do you want to? What is it that's intriguing you about this environment?
yeah,
You
yep,
know, why do you want to spend it? Because it's not like it's. I'm not just gonna randomly call an accountant and be like, "Can I come hang in your office for a day?"
no, no,
Unless they're like, "Why?" And it's like, "Oh, well, I want to actually pivot into this career because of this reason and this." And
sure,
so I think everyone's got to have a justifiable reason why you want to do this because it's not easy. And what I hate is what I don't want is the industry to get an influx of we have a lot of this. We have an influx of people who enter but not stay.
yeah,
I know so many cats who started this journey. Same when I started, bro.
yep,
But but a lot of them did good because they asked themselves the question, and then
yeah,
they were like, "Yeah, Terry, I don't have the same. You really want to do this? I realize I don't really want to do this. I like playing my instrument, but you really want to do this,
yeah.
cuz."
You really want to go
And
through it, yeah,
and they've and asking yourself that question. So I think, and I'd even say for me, like what my why is, and the reason why I'm still doing this after all this time, despite all the hardships and the ups and downs. Um, for me personally, my why is, um, I've found that I get fulfillment, or there's a strong sense of yeah, fulfillment is the word, I guess. Strong sense of fulfillment, or
Would you say purpose by chance?
purpose. That's it. Yeah,
Okay.
purpose in facilitating a moment where people from different backgrounds, faiths, ethnicities, are all united because of music that this particular song that they all love. It's like, man, like you all have different things going on. You grew up differently, family dynamics, but you all love the same piece of music,
Yep.
you know, and being in that moment where it's 20 people in the audience or 20,000 people, like, and they're all locked into that moment.
Hmm.
It's the most, that's the reason why I do it, bro. Like
Yeah.
anytime when I'm at home for like 2 weeks, if I come home from being on the road, after like 3 days, I'm not missing being on the road. I'm missing that feeling of
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
one of the most fulfilling things for me, bro, is walking around an arena before showtime and seeing the people's anticipation. I'm like, this
Yes.
is why that's what reminds me. This is why I'm doing this,
Yes.
because you guys have all clocked off work and you've traveled from this place, and it's because you've trusted us to take you into this space for the next 2 hours. You know,
That's it.
like that's it,
Yep.
and that's what matters
Yeah.
to me. Like that's what helps me push through all the difficult stuff about this, because it's not easy.
It's
There's a lot
yeah.
of difficult stuff.
I
So
agree.
that's what personally helps me. So your why has got to be strong enough to, it's
It's
not because
gotta
of
be
all the
strong.
great stuff. Yeah, don't get me wrong. We get to travel, I get a whole bunch of free stuff from companies. I get all that stuff is great, but it's not enough to
Sometimes,
sometimes. Yeah,
it's a big sometimes.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah,
bro, you and I have traveled the entire world, I would say twice at least
yeah,
at this
yeah,
point,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
How we don't get to see as much as people think. Just
No,
because we're in a city or we're in a country does not mean we
yeah,
saw the country.
no,
We get and do not get me wrong. I would much rather be in Prague playing a show than at my local dive bar here,
yeah,
right? Like, don't get me
yeah,
wrong.
yeah, yeah.
However, it's not a big enough why, because you
No,
really
it's not.
don't see it. The
No,
endorsements thing, I recently just got full endorsement, and
right,
I
right, right,
mean
right,
full
right.
coverage. That does not mean everything
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
free
yeah,
for me. That just means
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah. But I
covered
get you.
by every
Exactly.
company, right? So
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
wasn't a selling point, and
yeah.
you can make enough money to go travel on your own, and you can get enough Instagram or
Hmm?
TikTok followers to get the endorsement
To get
still.
free stuff. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you don't need
So I mean, yeah,
right. So you need to understand your
that's a great
why.
point. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And that was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
why I was asking you, because I think we have similar conversations with people who are up and coming, and they're eager to get on the road. They're eager to be an MD, and love all of that. By the way, love
Yeah,
it
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's great to yeah.
But then we have a conversation, and I'm like, okay, well, why do you want to do this? Are you good with people? I don't really like people. Cut it.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Got it. Yeah,
dip
yeah.
out of there. Like
No,
you
yeah.
need to go do your
Yeah.
own thing, or
It's self awareness, man. It's important. It's important. I think sometimes we try and almost kind of not get away with, but we almost try to minimize the importance of that in this space.
yeah,
It's important everywhere else. It's important in relationships. It's important in self awareness. Like when it comes to your health, you got to be honest with yourself and be like, man,
right.
I need to get in the gym. I need to. So I think in this space we need that. Like,
You
you
need
know,
it. And knowing
yeah,
there's a place for you still. I'm gonna
yeah,
say a couple names, and I'm not saying these people are jerks or bad people or anything like that at all. I'm just
yeah,
saying they've
yeah,
chosen different paths than we've chosen. If we
right,
take
right,
someone like a Corey Henry is
yeah,
phenomenal, right?
yeah.
But Corey wouldn't be excited to play behind Beyonce. It might be cool for a
Like,
moment, and I'm
for a moment,
speculating.
like, yeah,
I've never had this
yeah,
conversation with Corey, so I don't want to put words in his mouth. But
yeah, of
just
course.
in theory,
In theory,
I'm
yeah,
gonna say
yeah,
he wouldn't enjoy that for too long, because he's not
yeah,
able to stretch. He likes being his own
yeah,
artist, and he's
exactly.
incredible at it, right? And he's
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
cultivated an environment that allows him to shine without
Yeah.
being a supporting role.
Yeah.
So if you're not the best with people, or maybe you're not great with taking feedback and you need to be in charge,
Yeah.
no worries.
No
There is
worries.
an
There's
avenue,
something. Yeah. There's some. Yeah. Yeah.
so I just want
Yeah.
people to really understand that
And being a
why.
touring musician is not the only avenue for someone who's great at their instrument.
Yes. Like there's
You
so
know,
many other and let's
you
be
could be
real.
great. You could create really good content. Um, for like one of the kind of my background is in jazz as a keys player. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
one of my instructors creates incredible jazz content. They don't tour. He was like, I'm not really a people person. I don't really want to travel with a lot of people. So I like this because I can control the environment. I can choose when I post. I can, I mean, but he's an instrument. He plays an instrument. He's an
Yeah.
instrumentalist. So, like, yeah, it's good for people out there to know that just because you play an instrument doesn't mean the natural progression has to be touring.
No, there's so many
It's not the only
realms.
thing.
Yeah.
Some people will be great studio musicians and playing on records,
Amazing.
and they're busy pushing touring, and it's like, and I think when you're in the right space, and I guess you'd agree on this, when you're in the right space and walking in your purpose, it it's easy for you to push through the difficult times, and when things are when it's not the difficult times and it's the easier or better times, you you get that kind of sense of fulfillment and you understand, okay, this is why I had to go through this. I'm doing the right thing, right?
Yes.
It makes sense. It falls into place when you're
Yep.
doing the right thing. When you're not, everything just seems like nothing's working out.
It's
I'm
not
not,
enjoyable.
yeah. Sometimes it's just kind of taking a step back and being like, am I even doing the right thing right now?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not meant to be doing the right thing. Yeah,
And it's okay to
you know.
question it, even if you are walking in purpose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know every
You will.
dope musician that has been in the road, and they're like, man, they get to a point where like,
Yeah,
I miss my
I'm not
girl,
sure.
I miss my dog, I
Yeah,
miss my house. Like, do I want to do
yeah,
this? And
yeah.
then you have the moments where you remind yourself why you do it.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Or it
people,
reminds you, or
yes,
it reminds
yes,
you.
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But I really yearn for people just to have that understanding of why they want to do it, because it's not easy.
Yeah,
It is not romanticized. It's not as easy. Like, yeah, you have the dope drum set,
yeah.
but like a straight transparent moment. Last production rehearsals I was doing, I
Uh-huh.
had my dream set. I didn't touch it for six
Amazing.
days because we didn't have music. They were still sorting out their details.
Right, right, right,
You see what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right.
Like, and so it's like,
Yeah,
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 you
yeah,
got
yeah.
this thing,
Yeah.
but then this is the part of the
This is
business
the
you're
part
not
they don't see.
prepared
Yeah, yeah,
for.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
just that why
That's how
is
it is.
that's the reality of what most of the time we're dealing with.
Uh-huh.
And then
Uh-huh.
whatever, right? But this is so dope, and I'm very thankful
Yeah,
that you're here, man. I think
man.
I would love to do a part two because there's a list of a few other
For
things you said
sure.
I would love to just yap about with you.
Right, right,
But
right.
thank you, bro, for just taking time and energy, and especially because you're in the UK and you carved out time
Uh-huh.
in your evening to help me and the platform. And thank you for being here, Terry. I really
Man,
appreciate
appreciate you, man. There's you're a peer that that I respect and admire what you do. And so like
it. Thank you.
and I know also that you're at the top of the game in terms of what you do. So there's a bunch of people you could have called, everybody, you connected.
Thank you.
So the fact that you wanted me is an honor, bro.
Yeah, I only want to talk to people I
I
want.
know that I know you weren't short of people to ask, and you're not short of people to ask. So just to be considered as one of the people to kind of come on your platform and chop it up is an honor. So thank you for that.
Man, that means a lot. Just so we can close it out, what do you have coming up? And we're always going to link all the description stuff of what you have. And if there's one central location where people like this, click here, you'll find everything. That's cool too. But if you
Okay.
would love to tell us, man, I'm down.
Yeah, for sure. I'm starting some new exciting projects with some new artists that I can't really talk about right now because technically the first thing hasn't happened yet.
Yep,
So
fair.
I'm always a
Don't.
big believer in don't say anything until
I'm with
you
you.
know. Yeah.
Stay
So
silent.
people will know about it maybe 2 months after it's happened. So, but something to look forward to, and it's exciting because it's in I, I'm a diverse. My musical palette is diverse, so
Hmm.
it's exciting because it's spaces that people don't normally see me in terms of
That's
genre.
fun.
So yeah, it's gonna be spaces that people don't normally see me in, but I've always had an affinity to and love. So that's something to look out for, and that's expanding with 6 1 Live, which is my production, my live musical direction and show production company.
Amazing.
I'm just excited about working with new people in different parts of the world, so like Australia and the US.
Yeah.
So that's growing and moving into like sync and film and TV
Wow.
with that with 6 1 Live. And just kind of creating platforms for people who really major in that space
Yeah.
to kind of do more stuff. So yeah, my Instagram is probably the best place to kind of chop it up with me. Terry King _ so TERRYKING _, and then my website is www.61live 6-1-live.com. Yeah, and that's where people can find me. So
Amazing. And then do you do
yeah,
consultations if people want to reach out and get some more information and how to level up? Is that
yeah.
something that you offer?
Yeah, definitely. I do consultations, typically 90-minute consultations. 'Cause I think there's only a certain amount of information someone can take in the time. So I know some people want to do like 2 hour, 3 hour
No, no, no.
consultations, but I feel like 90 minutes is a sweet spot.
That's a
So
great.
I personally do like, yeah, I do 60 to 90 minutes consultations, and people, and that can be on anything to do with, it could be sessioning as a musician, it could be the production world, it could be programming,
Yeah.
it could be
Yep.
musical directing,
Yep.
it could be just building your career and your CV. And even one of the things I really do a lot of consultations on that people may not know is I'm really passionate about helping musicians with financial literacy and making good financial decisions, because I'm like, man, you want a career in this thing. You don't want to gig. I
Right.
never wanted to gig. I wanted to have a career
Yes,
for
sir.
a long period of time.
Yes, sir.
And if you don't, get your things in order in terms of financially, you quickly be like, yeah, I can't do this, and I can't work in
Yeah.
this job. Like, so I'm super passionate about, just from my own experiences, helping musicians navigate in that space. So yeah, aside from programming and MDing and how to make piano keyboard patches and things like that, like I also help do consultations when it comes to financial literacy, just navigating finances as a working musician. So yeah, I'm kind of working on a framework that helps people, a centralized framework where people can book those consultations. But at the moment, people can just DM me,
Just DM
and
you.
then DM me on Instagram, and then you can take it from there.
Perfect.
I try to respond to everybody. I try. I really do. I really do.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's sometimes, I mean, to close out, sometimes I don't know what to say to you guys, because some of the messages, anyway, they don't
Yeah,
they
I'm
don't
with
make
you.
sense.
I'm with you. Yep.
Like, there's some I've never spoken to you in my life, and then if you just message me, this is one thing not to do. Don't just be like, "Yo, what kind of message?" I'm like, at least be like, "Hey, man, good evening, good to connect with you. Big
Yeah.
fan of that." If you just say "Yo," and
Yep.
you have and your display picture is a
Nothing. A
football,
cat or something.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna respond. I'm just not gonna respond. Sorry, like, so yeah.
Nah, I agree. Don't just for people
Yeah,
out there, don't ever cold approach someone with yo.
yeah,
That is it. I don't care if we cross them paths. We're not homies.
yeah,
Don't please
exactly.
don't start
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
yo. I'm not,
Yes,
because you're
yes,
looking for a job or you're looking for information. That's a weird way to start that conversation. Is if
yeah. If
that
that's what you're looking,
it's just not a
for real.
respect. You know what it is? It's not even the ego. It's just a respect thing. You
It's
know,
just, honestly, it's just a respect thing, because when you get back to what we're talking about, though, I'll start where my mind will go with that is, so if you were in this our environment, is this how you would
yeah,
like
yeah. You go talk to a manager that
navigate,
way,
talk to people? Yeah,
artist that way.
I'm thinking you haven't even got, you can't base, you don't know how to start a conversation, basically. Because if that's
Yes.
how you start a conversation, you're showing me that if I left you on the road somewhere with these people, you wouldn't know how to start a conversation. So
Yep.
again, man, we could do this all night, man.
Well,
And
100%. But Girl, thank
Yeah,
you again for being here. We're gonna close it on out with just sad information. But once again, we'll tag everything that Terry's doing in the description. Reach out.
appreciate
This is the whole point, ladies and gentlemen, is that you've heard him talk, you've heard his philosophy and his mindset. And if you resonate with that, reach out. It's and some of you all may or may not resonate with us, and that's okay too. Don't reach out.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
might have took a bit of information, and that's cool. That's the purpose too. But if you do resonate with what Terry has going on, he's offering himself as a resource and a to me, he's at the top of his game of what he does. He's
man,
a
appreciate that, bro. That's a big compliment.
it's just the truth. You're doing it, and you are a vital asset to where you live, but also you've
Yeah,
crossed over. And I started with
yeah,
that, and I want to end with that so people
right,
understand
right, right.
how difficult that is and what you've accomplished, because it's
Yeah, yeah,
not easy.
tough.
So please reach out and get some more knowledge, get some information, and position yourself in a proper way so you can elevate in this career. So once again, Terry King, thank you so much for being here, brother. It means the
Appreciate
world
it,
to me.
bro.
My dog.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
brother.
Take care, bro. Appreciate you.